At Thanksgiving dinner, my mom said grace and thanked her perfect son, my brother, who hadn't shown up. I'd cooked the meal, cleaned the house, bought every ingredient. When I brought it up, she said, "Don't make everything about you." I stood up, grabbed the turkey, and said, "You can thank him for this too." I dropped it in the trash on my way out. Ate fast food alone. Best meal I'd had all year. This happened last Thanksgiving in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I still think about it every day. My name's Dan. I'm 42, divorced, no kids, live alone in a 2-bedroom rental on the edge of town. My life's not glamorous, but I keep my place clean and pay my bills on time. I work full-time at a local hardware store. It's not much, but it's steady. Last year, my mom asked if I could host Thanksgiving. She said it was too much for her to cook anymore. I said yes because honestly, I was lonely. I hadn't had the family over since before the divorce, and I thought maybe, just maybe, if I did everything right, they'd see I was still someone worth being proud of. So I went all out. I deep cleaned the house, scrubbed the baseboards on my hands and knees, dusted every surface. I borrowed extra folding chairs from my neighbor, took off 2 days from work to get everything ready. Grocery bill? Over $300. I still have the receipt saved. $68.74 for the turkey alone. I picked it up frozen, carried it 3 blocks because my car's been giving me trouble. Thawed it in my fridge for 3 days. Brined it overnight. Roasted it slow for 5 hours. I even made stuffing from scratch: sourdough, sausage, celery, the works. My cousin Jonah came early to help. He brought beer and set the table. We were laughing, listening to old country music. For a second, it felt like everything was going to be okay. Then Mom showed up. She walked in, looked around like she was judging a hotel lobby, and said, "Smells good." Then asked if I made the sweet potatoes the way Tyler likes them. Tyler, my younger brother. He lives in Seattle now, works in tech. Everyone thinks he's a genius. They brag about him like he's some kind of saint. But he doesn't call, doesn't visit, didn't even say he was coming this year. Mom still set a place for him at the head of the table. She even put a folded napkin on the plate like he was royalty. It was like I didn't exist. I did all the cooking, all the cleaning, bought every last damn thing. Nobody said thanks. Not a word. I tried to ignore it to just get through the meal. People were eating, talking, laughing. But every story Mom told? It was about Tyler. Tyler helped his neighbor fix a car last week. Tyler's boss said he's the best hire they ever had. Tyler might be buying a condo next year. I just kept refilling wine glasses and making sure everything was hot. Then came Grace. We all bowed our heads. Mom led the prayer. "Lord, thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for this beautiful meal. And thank you most of all for my perfect son." That's what she said. My perfect son. Not sons. Not both of my boys. Just son. Like I was a damn ghost in my own house. I felt something tighten in my chest. I waited. Maybe she did something. Maybe she'd say thank you to me. But no. That was it. When the prayer ended, I looked up and said, calm as I could, "Mom, Tyler's not even here. I made this meal. I cleaned this whole house. I paid for everything. And you didn't even thank me." She looked at me like I was a dog that barked too loud. "Don't make everything about you, Dan," she said, like I was the selfish one. That's when I knew. She didn't see me. Not really. Never had. I stood up. Didn't yell. Didn't cuss. Just stood up, walked over to the center of the table, and picked up the turkey platter. It was heavy, beautiful, golden brown, stuffed with herbs. I looked her in the eyes and said, "You can thank him for this too." Then I carried the turkey to the trash can, popped the lid open, and dropped the whole damn thing inside. It landed with a wet thud, greasy juices splashing against the plastic. Everyone went quiet. I grabbed my coat, took one last look at the table, and walked out. I drove to Sheetz, got a buffalo chicken sandwich, curly fries, and a chocolate milkshake. Ate it in my car with the windows cracked. Best meal I'd had all year. After that night, I expected someone, anyone, to reach out. A call, a text, something. But there was nothing. Total silence from the family. The next day, I got a message from Aunt Susan. She just said, "Hope you're feeling better." No context. No apology. Like I'd had some kind of outburst they all had to tiptoe around. I waited for Mom to call. She didn't. By Sunday, I broke and texted her. "Me, did you really mean what you said at dinner? She replied 4 hours later. Mom, I was just giving thanks. It wasn't personal. You overreacted. Overreacted. That's what she called it. I didn't respond. Instead, I started cleaning the house again. Not for guests, just to feel like I had some control over something. 2 weeks later, I found out Tyler had called Mom. That morning, he told her he wasn't coming. She knew the whole time. She set the place anyway. She said the prayer anyway. Thanked him anyway. I was done. For Christmas, I didn't invite anyone. I went to work, volunteered at a soup kitchen, came home, and watched old movies with a glass of bourbon. It was quiet, peaceful, sad in a way that felt clean. But then, in early January, Jonah called. Hey man, I need to tell you something. You're not gonna like it. He'd been at Mom's for New Year's. Tyler had flown in for a surprise visit. Everyone was there, Mom, Aunt Susan, even some neighbors. They had another big meal. And during it, Mom made a joke about how Dan must be off sulking somewhere. Tyler laughed, said, he's always been sensitive, always needed attention. Jonah said nobody spoke up. Not one person. You should have heard them, Dan, he said. It was like, you didn't exist. That hit me harder than the turkey thing, harder than the prayer. It was one thing for them to ignore me to my face. But to do it when I wasn't even there? It felt like they buried me alive. I thanked Jonah for telling me. Then I went quiet for a long time. That night, I started thinking about how every family photo at Mom's house had Tyler front and center. How when I graduated trade school, she barely came. But when Tyler got his master's, she threw a party with catering and a rented tent. I'd been ignored for years. I just hadn't wanted to see it. That changed something in me. I didn't want revenge. I wanted truth. So I made a plan. Not to hurt anyone. Just to show them what they'd done. And it started with Tyler. I waited a few days before I did anything. I didn't want to act out of anger. I wanted to be deliberate. Sharp. Tyler was still in town. Jonah told me he planned to stay for another week before flying back to Seattle. He was crashing at Mom's like always in his old room that she never touched. Like some shrine, I decided I'd pay him a visit. Not to yell. Not to fight. Just to remind him I was real. That I saw him. So that Thursday, I drove over after work. I knew Mom would still be at her knitting group. She always stayed out till at least 7:30. I parked 2 houses down and walked up to the porch like it was any other day. He opened the door himself. His face fell when he saw me. Oh, he said. Hey. Hey, I replied. Can we talk? He hesitated but stepped aside. Sure. I walked into the house I grew up in. Nothing had changed. Same floral couch, same dusty bookshelf, same scent of lemon cleaner and old carpet. But it felt different now. Like I didn't belong. We sat in the kitchen. I heard about New Year's, I said. He looked down at his coffee. Oh, I heard what you said. About me being sensitive. About needing attention. He shifted in his seat. I didn't mean it like that. No, I said. You meant it exactly like that. We sat in silence for a bit. You know, I went on, I used to look up to you. Thought you were the smart one. The strong one. But you couldn't even pick up a phone and tell Mom you weren't coming. You let me do everything, and she still called you the perfect son. He rubbed his temples. Look, Dan. I didn't ask her to do that. No, but you benefit from it, I said. Every damn time. She throws you parties, brags about you, forgives you for anything. And what do I get? A slap on the wrist if I speak up. You're being dramatic. There it was again. Dramatic. Sensitive. Selfish. I stood up. You know what, man? You and Mom can have each other. But don't think for a second I'm gonna keep playing along. I walked toward the front door, but before I left, I turned around. Oh, and Tyler? You might want to check your online reviews. He frowned. What? I smiled. Just slightly. Then I left. See, what Tyler didn't know was that I'd spent the last few days digging into his business. He'd co-founded a small tech consultancy in Seattle. Big on reputation, lots of Google reviews. And some of those reviews were inflated. Fake names. Copy-pasted text. And a few shady client practices that weren't hard to find once I knew where to look. I didn't post anything. Not directly. But I passed it all along anonymously to a few watchdog blogs. Local tech forums. A couple of business bureaus. I didn't need to burn his world down. Just needed to light a few matches and let the wind carry them. It wasn't revenge. It was exposure. And once the first blog post went live, things started shifting. Tyler's name showed up in comment threads. People were talking. Clients started asking questions. He still didn't know it was me, but Mom was about to find out. About a week after that night at Mom's, the storm finally hit. Tyler's company started losing clients. Small ones at first, then a few bigger contracts pulled out. There were whispers about shady billing, poor results, fake testimonials. One of the blogs called him another overhyped tech bro hiding behind buzzwords. He flew back to Seattle earlier than planned. Said it was business stuff, but I knew better. And 2 days after that, Mom called me. It was the first time she reached out since Thanksgiving. I let it go to voicemail. Her message was short. Dan, I need to talk to you. Please call me. I didn't call. I drove over. She opened the door in her robe, hair a mess, face tight with worry. Why didn't you return my call? I figured we'd have more to say in person. She didn't even invite me in. Just stood there, arms crossed. What did you do? Excuse me? Tyler's company is being attacked online. He said someone's spreading lies. He's losing work. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? I shrugged. Lies? I thought he was perfect. Her face hardened. This isn't funny. I'm not laughing. You've always been jealous. Stop. I stepped forward. I'm not jealous. I'm done. Done with playing second to a man who never earned it. Done with pretending you don't treat me like I'm disposable. She opened her mouth, but I kept going. You made Thanksgiving about him. Always make everything about him. Even now, you're more worried about his business than how you've treated me your whole damn life. You threw away the turkey, Dan, because you threw me away first. She went quiet. For once, I took a breath. You want to know what I did? I told the truth. That's it. I didn't make up a thing. People looked at his work and decided for themselves. Just like I did with this family. She looked at me like she was seeing a stranger. Is this who you've become? I shook my head. No, this is who I've always been. You just never bothered to look. Then I turned around and walked back to my car. That was the last time I saw her. I didn't go to Easter. Didn't return her texts after. She sent a card for my birthday in April. I didn't open it. Threw it away with the rest of the junk mail. I heard from Jonah that Tyler stepped down from his own company for a break. He's still got money. He'll land on his feet. Guys like him always do. But the shine's off now. His name doesn't carry the same weight. And Mom? She knows now. She may never say it, but she knows she had 2 sons. One showed up, worked, gave everything, and got ignored. The other floated by on charm and praise. And when it finally cracked, there was no one to catch him. I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm not sorry either. Some families don't break. They rot slowly from the inside. And sometimes the only way to survive is to walk out before the whole thing collapses. That Thanksgiving, I lost my family. But I got myself back.